So to modernize Macbeth, we set it in a present-day Fortune 500 company. Instead of Macbeth becoming Thanes of cities and then eventually the king, he moves his way up the hierarchy of the business, eventually becoming the CEO. Costumes were also updated to be more appropriate for the time, mostly suits and ties. Some motifs that will show up are violence, innocence, ambition, and loyalty, and those were demonstrated through several scenes throughout the play.
We chose to combine the third and fourth scenes of Act 1 because they show Macbeth meeting the witches and beginning to formulate his plans to gain more power. We updated this scene by removing the witches' magic powers and making them janitors at a corporate building. Instead of Macbeth killing MacDonald, he gets him fired from the company, which earns him his position. This shows the struggle that's often in many companies nowadays and the struggle that Macbeth faces in the play. We open with the shot of Macbeth on his computer in the office to show that he's a hard worker and to show the root of his ambition. We then move on to the shot in the next part of the scene where Duncan is meeting with Macbeth in his office and Macbeth tells about MacDonald stealing the money. Here we use an over-the-shoulder shot into the office following Macbeth so that we can see the glory of Duncan as the CEO and to show his power.
Macbeth, we have come to inform you of something.
We have just witnessed Vice Chairman MacDonald stealing money from the company vault.
You should tell CEO Duncan about this, because he'd take your word over ours.
Are you for real? This is serious. I will get him punished to the fullest extent of the law. Mr. Duncan, I have to inform you of something. Last night, 3 custodians came into my office and they informed me that MacDonald was stealing money from the company vault. You can check the security cameras if you'd like.
Oh, there will be no need for that. MacDonald has caused trouble in this office for far too long, and this was the last straw. He will be a disturbance no longer. As for you, Macbeth, I'm promoting you to his position of vice chairman of the company.
In Act 2, Scene 1, Macbeth contemplates killing Duncan, and after further thought, he decides to commit the deed. We initially used the panning shot to establish the setting of the eerie moonlight, and the imagery of the night and darkness to portray the dark and ominous tone that sets off our film. We used tracking to keep it an intimate shot. This effectively helps the viewer to identify what Macbeth is feeling because they can identify each single facial expression that Macbeth is portraying. We used the high-angle shot of Duncan walking up the stairs playing Clash of Clans to establish Duncan being vulnerable. This aids in creating dramatic irony because the audience knows what is coming for Duncan. The next tracking shot, used to follow Duncan's nighttime routine, gives yet again a sense of dramatic irony because climbing in bed and going through your nighttime routine should be something of comfort. But in this case, it is a lot of discomfort in the viewing because we know what's coming for Duncan. So even down to each noise is escalated to give a more even exaggerated emotion. Even like a bed creaking is almost creepier now because we know Macbeth is coming to kill Duncan. This next low-angle shot gives the perception of Macbeth being this monster because his size is escalated in our viewing and it's almost deceiving to make this act seem even more atrocious. Then the next low-angle tracking shot is used to elongate Macbeth's figure and to add to the eeriness of the scene as Macbeth creeps into Duncan's room to go commit this awful act. The final shot is a low-angle point of view shot from where Duncan is lying, and this is helpful in the portrayal of the motif of sleep being innocence, because as Duncan lies there, he's completely vulnerable to Macbeth, and Macbeth dominates over him as you see the last scene of Macbeth going in with the dagger.
We also focused on the 2 themes of violence and ambition, with Macbeth killing Duncan to become the CEO. What is this dagger handle pointed towards me? Am I seeing things because I want to commit this atrocious act? It must be a sign. Good God, have mercy on me, for I shall commit this atrocious act.
We selected Act 3, Scene 3 in the play, where Macbeth orders Fleance and Banquo to be killed, because this truly brings out Macbeth's true colors of being a heartless and evil person, so greedy that he would even have a child killed just to be a CEO of a company. So instead of the murderers using bows or swords, we have them use modern-day firearms, aka Nerf guns. And we also have Macbeth actually pay the murderers to kill him, like hitmen, instead of persuading them like he does in the play. So we did an over-the-shoulder shot, basically from the murderer's perspective, and we did this to frame Banquo and Fleance because they're the most important things in the scene.
Okay, just to review. Tonight you will sneak up and terminate Banquo along with his child Fleance. I think he's on to me and I want him gone. As for your payment, you will be paid in full when I see that the job is done.
Run, Fleance! Run far away! For Act 4, we chose Scene 3 because it sets up the final fight between Macduff and Macbeth. It also has a lot of emotion in the dialogue. We updated this scene with the use of a car for Macduff's voyage to fight Macbeth instead of a horse, and the three characters discuss the state of an office versus the state of an entire country. A theme we focused on for this scene was loyalty. Within this scene, we see Macbeth once again betraying someone who he has worked with in the past and who respected him. For camera techniques, we used over-the-shoulder shots to capture the dialogue because it showed the dialogue from the perspective of the others involved. We then used a panning shot to follow the car backing out of the driveway to demonstrate the urgency that Macduff was feeling to get to Macbeth and fight him because he killed his family. And we also used a close-up shot of the car driving away to help demonstrate this.
Good evening, gentlemen.
How's it going?
Good, how have you been, Macduff?
Good to see you. Just got back from that business trip. How's the office doing?
Things haven't been going the greatest.
So what are the most recent issues?
But it's same things as usual. You know how it goes.
How's my family doing?
I don't know.
What happened? I can obviously see from your face that something's wrong.
I don't have it in me to tell you.
Tell me what happened.
Fine. Your family was killed by Macbeth.
What? His life is gonna have a deadly ending. That monster will pay for this!
Wait, Macduff! Macduff, where are you going?
We chose Act 5, Scene 8 because it is the climax of the entire play. We used things like modern language and modern gunnery to adapt it to modern times. We used the painting shot of Macduff entering the woods to go fight Macbeth because it rose the intensity of the scene. And as he showed up in the woods and saw Macbeth, we used the over-the-shoulder shot over Macbeth's shoulder so that we could frame Macduff, who was the most important person in the scene at that point. We use dark and light imagery in this scene because in the play it seems as though the dark is taking over the light, and this is the final sunset over the play. We used high angle and low angle shots to make Macbeth start off as more dominant over Macduff, and eventually Macduff overtaking Macbeth, and this really helped in the portrayal of this. We also used a tracking shot when Macduff ran into the woods to battle Macbeth. This helped the audience to feel like they were with him and they were in the scene themselves. And this also kept it intimate.
Macbeth! Your time on this earth is over.
I've already killed the rest of your family. You think I can't kill you too? Don't underestimate my power.
No one messes with my family, you monster!
Unless you were born by a woman, you are dead to me.
I wasn't born a woman. I was born a C-section. Get down! You killed my family. Go to hell!
Our film shows that Shakespeare's stories can be told through any time period and still be entertaining to the audiences watching. So our film demonstrated quite well the themes of ambition, violence, and loyalty, and how they affect a person.